All right. Are there any senators in the chamber who wish to vote or change a vote? If not, on this vote, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative and the nomination is confirmed.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
The duties of the office of which I am about to enter.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
That's Pete Hegseth getting sworn in. And I think I want to give him a chance to see what he does. I think it's fine to give him a chance. Even when Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago got elected, he's a buffoon. He's terrible now. But I am on record, on video saying, I'm going to give you a chance. And the left here is going to, looks like, we'll see what happens with Anna Kasparian, Cenk Uygur on the Young Turks. It looks like they're going to give Pete Hegseth a chance. What we're going to do during this React is kind of break down what has happened since he's been confirmed. He's already been making some waves. Back to Anna Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, Young Turks. Let's hear it.
Well, you just witnessed Vice President J.D. Vance breaking the tied Senate vote to confirm Pete Hegseth as the new head of the Defense Department. He is now the Defense Secretary. Now, the votes for Hegseth were 50-50 after 3 Republican senators.
Don't go anywhere with this clip. And remember, this is right now at After Show Carnage. So visit the channel, subscribe, get notifications for that, because I will go live just on that channel probably after this week. I'll still do Middle MAGA ones when I can. But later in this clip, I've got border security, eliminating DEI, Iron Dome, and other things that Pete Hegseth has already done. He is, because I was watching him because everybody said he wasn't qualified. He's already getting off to a running start in the Pentagon. Let's get back to the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur.
Senators opposed Hegseth's confirmation, and that includes former GOP leader Mitch McConnell, Alaskan Senator Lisa Murkowski, and Maine Senator Susan Collins. So the VP, of course, can be the tie-breaking vote, and that's exactly what J.D. Vance did here. There was a lot of uncertainty, though, about how the vote would play out, given the Republicans' thin majority in the Senate. Now, all you need is a simple majority to confirm one of Donald Trump's nominees. However, it wasn't clear whether or not one of the senators in question, a Republican senator, was going to vote for his confirmation, and that's Senator Tillis. So Senator Tom Tillis apparently, gave some hints that he might actually vote against the confirmation of Pete Hegseth. But in a statement, Tillis said, from the beginning, I have been clear about my position. If President Trump's nominees were reported favorably out of the relevant committees, I would support their confirmation on the Senate floor, absent new material information about their qualifications. Once Pete Hegseth's nomination was sent to the floor by my colleagues on the Senate Armed Services Committee, I conducted my own due diligence, including asking tough questions of Pete, and I appreciated his candor and openness in answering them. Further, he says that Pete has a unique perspective as a veteran of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and is unquestionably passionate about modernizing our military and supporting the brave patriots like himself who serve our nation. I will support his confirmation and look forward to working with him to rebuild our military and advance President Trump's peace through strength agenda. So in other words, Tillis was a question mark going into the confirmation hearings, but ultimately decided to vote in favor of confirming Hegseth.
Yeah, I don't believe Tillis. I also don't believe Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski. I halfway believe McConnell, so I'll explain why. Number one, now that the Republicans 3 votes in the Senate, they could afford to lose 3 votes in any given confirmation or bill. So what you will see over and over again is coincidentally them losing 2 to 3 Republicans who just couldn't vote that way because of their conscience. No, nonsense. They're in purple states. They vote that way to have plausible deniability. If their votes were needed, they definitely would have voted for Hegseth, okay? And
So let's talk about Hegseth and what he's planning on doing. And this is since his confirmation, so the latest news on everything. Border security, the Department of Defense has already ordered 1,500 active duty troops to the southern border, charged the Air Force with flying immigrants being deported by the United States. He's already got off to a running start. and I heard that there were things ringing out at the border. I, I saw a couple videos of people talking about it. Let's look at a video here. I don't know much other than the videos that we've seen, but we'll get back to that clip from the Young Turks here in a second. Let me show you the news on the border, what Pete Hegseth is looking at. And yeah, do I want troops on the border? Where else would our troops really need to be?
We have some breaking news right now in Fronton, Texas. Right now we have an active scene. Earlier today, suspected cartel members fired shots at Border Patrol agents here in Fronton, Texas. Agents did return fire, but no one was hit. The group of illegals that were attempting to cross did not make it to Texas soil. That's what the suspected cartel members were trying to do. As of right now, this is still an ongoing investigation, but you see active scene here. We have Starr County Sheriff, Texas State Troopers, Border Patrol agents all on the scene still investigating. A Border Patrol agent just walked up to us moments ago and said to get away from the area. It's still a dangerous and fluid situation. And remember, this comes after President Trump did declare Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations. Last week, a hiker in California was also shot by suspected cartel members. But once again, we want to show you guys the scene here. This is still a developing story. We will provide those updates as we get it. But you see, we have Border Patrol agents still investigating, Texas State Troopers, local law enforcement here in Fronton, Texas. So a very active scene here today. And as soon as we have any new updates on this situation, we will provide them to you.
This, to me, as they show more clips here, could be considered an act of war right on the border. So it is a very serious situation. Yeah, I don't know why we allowed it to get this bad, but it's that bad. Basically almost turning our whole country into like a urban city with the urban gang.
Are there any
the gang problems you might see in the inner city? Basically, the cartels are like that with our whole country. Let's get back to the Young Turks, and then we'll talk about the Iron Dome, an American Iron Dome. What?
These days, so he wanted to protect himself by voting against Hegseth, but they were out of votes. So he said, oh, of course, I will be your loyal servant, Lord Trump. And so he votes this way. So many of the votes will be 50-50, just so they can get a whole rotating number of Republican senators with votes against Trump nominees so they could run in their re-elections, go, oh, I defied Trump on this and this and this. No, it's nonsense. It's just a shell game. The only reason why I believe McConnell is because McConnell's salty about Trump. And so he's going to vote against a couple of nominees. In fact, he was supposed to vote for Hegseth, according to what the reports were. But maybe he's still got a little bit of salt left and he voted against him.
I mean, Collins, I do believe, because she was raising alarm about Hegseth early on after he was nominated. I don't know about Murkowski. I think you're making a good point about Murkowski. And Collins in the first Trump term did vote against Trump on a number of occasions.
Yeah, she's basically anti-MAGA corporate. We already know what she's about. What's going on with this Iron Dome? They're serious about this. And I'll tell you why I like the concept, but I hate the implementation. Since his confirmation as Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth has taken a swift and decisive action. This is through Perplexity AI, but we're also using, if you don't know, there's this new AI out, DeepSeek. It's R1, DeepSeek R1. Perplexity uses a various ChatGPT, Claude, all of them. And I am using DeepSeek R1 for this one, ironically. They're run by the Chinese. Immediately after taking office, Hegseth announced that the Department of Defense would be following President Trump's order to end DEI programs. But let me make sure. Sorry, I wanted the Iron Dome. Did I not get the Iron Dome? And let me see what I got on the. Okay, here's the Iron Dome. Yeah. So on today, Trump issued an executive order titled Iron Dome for America, tasking the Pentagon to build a multi-layered missile defense system. Everything Trump, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think Trump was serious about everything he said. He's literally going down Agenda 47. I'm giving him credit. What Trump said he was going, we don't normally see any president do this. We don't, and he's flooding the zone. The legal system takes a while. Are you going to be able to freeze all of these? I don't know. Every single thing Trump said he was going to do, he did, basically. Not all of it is good. I don't know. He said he was going to end anti-Sem on day one, He did an executive order, but I'm not talking about that country right now for this one. I don't even want to argue whether these things are good or bad. Everything he said he was going to do, he's doing. I think most everyone can agree with that. Let's get back to the Young Turks.
So,
well, most of the time when he didn't need her vote. I mean, but there were like on healthcare, there was a critical vote, credit where credit is due, right? So look, with Collins and Murkowski, we'll see. If they mean it, they'll do it when the votes count, right? So, but for these show votes where they win anyway, I'm going to give very little credit to the so-called dissenters as long as those nominees and bills pass anyway. Because, sorry, Anna, just real quick, if you don't know, that is very standard political practice in Washington.
Yeah, what he's saying is if you know the vote's going to fail or pass, then you can pretend like you were against it. It's like, hold me back. You can pretend like you wanted to fight when you know that there's no fight that's going to happen. That was Jalen Rose is the one that made that up or made that popular, talking about the NBA. The order requires Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. That's what the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur are talking about. It requires him to develop a reference architecture, capability-based requirements, and an implementation plan within 60 days. Damn, he might have some drinks late at night. That's a fast deadline. They basically signed up for homework and projects. This is no joke. Could you imagine becoming Secretary of Defense? As soon as you do, you've got everything on your plate. A ton of big issue topics. And there's a bunch of people there that don't want you there. All of them have their knives ready like they're in the UK. They're a Muslim in the UK. And you have to handle all that while Trump says you have 60 days, sir, to put together an implementation plan that I have to go in front of the media and talk about for an Iron Dome, something that's never been done before in America. So I wish him the best to do it. But the problem that I have is the money. So I really have a problem. I'm not for giving the Department of Defense any more money. So they're cutting the DEI stuff. If they can cut enough out of there and this is a lame take by me, but I will say it, if they can keep the spending where it was last, I think total all in, we're about $1 trillion. I hate to say this, it's going to be cringe. You could even clip it up as a cringe take. If the Department of Defense keeps their spending requests at $1 trillion, then I'm fine with Iron Dome. That means you've cut elsewhere and you are going to put that in. I'm going to do a little bit more of the Young Turks. And then my final takeaway will be about Mark Milley. Yes, Pete Hegseth is trying to kind of finish him to the one. I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
Democrats also do it too. They call release the vote, right? So they'll release you to vote the way that your state or your district wants once they know they're going to win anyway. So there's nothing but fakeness in Washington.
So following the vote, Senator Mitch McConnell referenced Hegseth's warrior culture line as part of the reason why he voted against his confirmation, saying by all accounts, brave young men and women join the military with the understanding that it is a meritocracy. This precious trust endures only as long as lawful civilian leadership upholds what must be a firewall between service members and politics. The Biden administration failed at this fundamental task, but the restoration of warrior culture will not come from trading one set of culture warriors for another. Surprising to hear this from Mitch McConnell, to be honest.
Let's go back to back in the day, we had this, the infamous tweet, or not tweet, the infamous moment. I know it is a tweet because that's when I saw it. I saw it on Twitter. I was like, what's going on? I honestly, I forgot what year this was from. I honestly didn't know what was happening. I was like, is he joking? Like, what's going on? And now I wouldn't be shocked, but here we go.
First of all, on the issue of critical race theory, et cetera, I'll obviously have to get much smarter on whatever the theory is. But I do think it's important, actually, for those of us in uniform to be open-minded and be widely read. And the United States Military Academy is a university. And it is important that we train and we understand. And I want to understand white rage. And I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding, having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend. And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers, of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theories that are out there. That was started at Harvard Law School years ago, and it proposed there were laws in the United States, antebellum laws prior to the Civil War, that led to a power differential with African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed. And then we had a Civil War and Emancipation Proclamation to change it. And we brought it up to the Civil Rights Act in 1964. It took another 100 years to change that. So look I do want to know. And I respect your service, and you and I are both Green Berets. But I want to know. And it matters to our military and the discipline and cohesion of this military. And I thank you for the opportunity to make a comment on that.
Thank you, General.
It sounded like he believed it. See, he was taking the position that I'm just reading it, that I'm not necessarily what this is. And then he was really passionate about what it was. That's what it came across to me. I don't know about you, that even when he said, and I'm white, but that wasn't even the biggest problem. Why am I bringing up Mark Milley? Pete Hegseth revoked clearance access to Milley. Let's talk about it. Mark, this is one of the things. Look at all the stuff Pete Hegseth is already involved with, already working on, already doing. Crazy. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is set to announce the immediate revocation of retired Mark Milley's personal security detail and security clearance. Woo. Additionally, Hegseth is directing the new acting inspector general to conduct a review board to determine if there is sufficient evidence to potentially strip General Milley of a star in retirement based on allegations that he undermined the chain of command during President Donald Trump's first term. Donald Trump is not playing games with you, anyone. Now is not the time to test this man. He is coming out way harder than I thought he would, firing at all cylinders. So many things that he's doing, I can't cover it all in a live, y'all. I can't. It's been 7 days. This is the most efficient and well-run presidency that I have ever seen in my lifetime. And it's not even close. I did not expect that coming. I did not expect that at all. What's her name? Caroline Leavitt, who ran for the House and lost. And actually, I did a live with her as a thumbnail when she was running when the red wave was supposed to happen and didn't happen. Ray was on that live, if he's still here. We talk about that live still to this day. She was doing her press conference. I don't know if I'm going to get to that. She was fire. JD Vance was fire. I don't know. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? I don't know, man. Trump is on his game, man. And I said, I don't like him with the tech bros, but he's operating like a tech bro, and he's operating like Elon Musk, to just be frank, in a good way. Elon Musk takes over X, or Twitter at the time, turns it into X, and what does he do? He cleans house. He's done. He's like, you're gone. I don't need you doing TikToks all day, talking about how bad the food is in the Twitter lunchroom or how fire it is. What do you do here? Elon Musk came into Twitter and he's like, what do you do? And some people started stuttering. He said, what you do now is get the hell up out of here. Elon Musk did that. We covered that in immense detail. And I don't know if that's rubbing off on Trump. I don't know, or it feels like it, doesn't it? Another story that we had today was Trump offered to buy out federal employees. So he's like, this is the exact type of stuff Elon Musk would do. This is base policy, guys. I'm keeping it real. This is way more base than I ever thought that he would be. Donald Trump has initiated a significant buyout program for federal employees. It can't be all of them, but as many as he could. I think there's legal reasons why he couldn't do all of them. As a part of his administration's effort to streamline government operations. The libertarians, where you at? You should be standing up and applauding right now. Nothing else to do. He's buying them out. He's trying to buy them out. He said they're predicting 5 to 10% will take the money and get out, cleaning house. So Trump's like, if you would take that money, you shouldn't be here. So I don't have to fire you. That's an Elon Musk thing. It smells like Elon Musk. The program, termed as a deferred resignation letter offer, allows federal workers to resign voluntarily. So he didn't even have to force them out. Resign voluntarily by February in exchange for a severance package equivalent to approximately 7 to 8 months salary. If you know you can get a job real quick, then I would take that. If you were already looking for a job and you imagine if you were already looking for a job and you got the job and you're just kind of in limbo and maybe it's beyond 2 weeks and you haven't notified, and then Trump says you can get 7 to 8 months salary along with continued benefits until September, and you got another job lined up. It's pretty nice. The buyout offer is aimed primarily, and taxpayers are paying it off, but this is good money well spent. As long as Trump, I'm not going to put qualifications on it. It's a good thing no matter what. I don't think Trump is planning on rehiring more than he's firing. So the buyout offer is aimed at those federal employees who are reluctant to return to in-person work. So he said, if you don't want to return to work, then you can just stay home. And if you do this buyout, you don't have to return to work because you're gone. And on September 30th. I think it's a win-win. Everyone should be happy about it.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.